This is going to be a standing episode. I feel like standing. Episode 10 with Mudney. Standing one. No, I'm joking. This is going to be my own full guide from my own experiences in life. So everything that I've went through and everything that I've learned in life, but also from the people who I've spoken to, things that they've taught me. I feel like I've communicated with a lot of smart and wise people who've given me great advice in the past, who've been in this same exact situation as you probably are right now, that I was in the past. And this is going to be my own full guide based off everything that I know, everything that I've ever read, everything that I've talked to. I put a lot of time into coming up with this because this is what helped me. So I hope it helps you. First of all, it's completely okay to feel what you're feeling right now. It's completely okay to feel stuck or to be in a rut. I've been there. A lot of people have been there. This is where all of my information is coming from, is the people that I've spoken to, the people who have helped me, my own experiences, my own perspective. So we've all been through it. You're not special. You're not rare. There's nothing wrong with you. This is just a part of life. Everyone has to go through a certain downfall. Everyone has to take a L. It is what it is. I have certain regrets in my life. I have certain things that I wish I didn't do. It is what it is. You move on, you learn from it, and you get better. There are certain times in my life where I feel like nothing good was happening. I wasn't improving at all. It is what it is. Take it like a champ and move on. This video is going to have 2 parts, and those 2 parts are going to consist of a series of questions. The first series of questions is going to be what's holding you back, because to me, I think that's really important to tackle down first. What's been holding you back this whole time? What's the reason you feel like you're stuck? There has to be something that's in your way, that's stopping you, that's preventing you from moving up. The next part of this video is going to be what can you do to move up, or what are you already doing to move up? Each part is going to consist of a series of questions that you need to ask yourself. Once you get the answers, you need to figure out a program and how to eliminate, whether it's the bad habits, you need to figure out how to eliminate those bad things. And if it's the good things, the things that you should be doing, you need to find out how to implement that in your life and put that in your life. So the first subject of the series of questions is going to be number 1, what bad habits do you have? What are the things that are in your way? So what bad habits do you do? In my situation, it was weed. It was viewing adult content. It was sleeping too much, or procrastinating, or just being lazy. These are the things that were in my way. So now ask yourself the same exact things. What are the things that are in your way? What bad habits do you do on a daily basis that maybe you've been doing for years that are in your way? And now you have to come up with a program that's going to help you overcome that and eliminate it. You don't need to limit it, right? My challenge to everyone is always to eliminate these bad habits. Don't just put a limit on them. Now, the program that you use, that's up to you. Me personally, I taper down. So if I've been smoking weed every single day, 7 times a week, for example, I'll do it 5 days a week, and then do that for 2-3 weeks, and then I'll do it 3 times a week. And then I'll eventually keep doing that until I get to a point where I'm doing it once a week. And I remember when I actually did that, I'd use the same exact strategy. I was smoking I used to smoke like 2-3 blunts a day. And I remember going to that time where when I smoked once a week, it was a Saturday with my friends. And I remember I was like, damn, I don't even think I can handle this, because just that one, I was like, usually we would go for round 2 or something like that. I'm like, I can't even handle that. So for me, the tapering down method works. That's what works for all of the bad habits, all of the things that are holding me down. For me, that works best because I'm able to slowly get rid of it. For you, the cold turkey method might be better. It's different for everyone. Some friends of mine like to do the cold turkey where they just quit right away. To me, I think that's too much for me to handle. I slowly taper off of it. But what you got to figure out is, okay, once you ask yourself, okay, what are the bad habits that are bringing me down? Now you need to figure out the program. Find out which program and how you can eliminate these bad habits. It might not happen right away, but work towards eliminating them completely. Because maybe you've been doing it for 5 to 6 years. These are things that are in your way that you need to stop. Now, the next thing you need to ask yourself is, how much time do you waste? Right now, you're trying to figure out what things do you do that you spend a lot of time doing? How much time is wasted? Do you spend a lot of time playing video games? Do you spend a lot of time watching TV, doing certain things that you feel like could be a waste of time? I realized this later on in life. I'm 25. I feel like I realized this recently. At least I did, thank God, right? But recently I realized this to where okay, time is of the essence now. I have school, I have work, I have YouTube, I have all these other things I need to handle. If someone were to give me just some time off, I would be able to use that little bit of time and be so productive with it, because I know the essence of time. I know how valuable it is. When I was young, I wasn't. So maybe you're watching this, you're 18, 19, or you're in high school. You think that you have a lot of time. You're willing to waste a lot of time. Hopefully you take my advice, because I was given the same advice early on. I didn't take it. Hopefully you take my advice that time is of the essence. You can't waste it. So make the best out of it. Don't be spending too much time playing video games. If you spend hours and hours and hours doing that, cut that down. If you're spending a lot of time on social media, looking at reels, Instagram, TikTok reels, these things aren't going to benefit you. These things aren't going to help you move up in life. Now, this is different from the bad habits because I'm not asking you to eliminate them. That's not the challenge. That's not the goal here. The goal here is to limit them. Limit the time you spend on video games. Limit the time you spend watching TV. Limit the time you spend on Instagram reels and TikToks, and even hanging out with friends. I used to hang out with friends almost every single day. So some of my friends actually watch this channel, and you can attest to it. You can go ask them. I used to hang out with them every single day. I cut that down as well. It's not because I don't like them or because we don't want to hang out with each other. It's because we all have things to do now. We're all busy. We have different priorities. We're all moving up as men. We have things to work on. So now we hang out once a week or once every 2 weeks, stuff like that. Limit that time. Once you figure out what things you're wasting time on, find a way to limit that. I'm not telling you to quit video games. Limit it. Limit the use of social media. Limit the use of video games and TV. Limit hanging out with friends. Limit doing stupid things that are just a waste of your time. I don't know what you do that wastes your time. That's why I say ask yourself this and figure out what's wasting my time and limit that. And this is still under the subject of what's holding you back. Because for me, you don't have to follow this step by step, but it's better you do, because to me, that's like the whole course. That's the whole guide, right? You can't look at how to improve and how to become better if the things that are holding you back are so impactful on you that you can't even move up. You're going one step forward and 2 steps back. So we're still on this subject. You need to work on this before you work on the next part of this video. So we're still under the first subject or the first part of this video. Third question is going to be, where do your eyes and ears go? Meaning, what do you look at and what do you listen to? To me, it's like when people say the eyes are the window to your soul, it makes sense, because what you look at directly affects your soul. It's a very spiritual thing, and I am very spiritual, so that's why I'm talking about these things. But even in a different aspect, even in this aspect, right? You want to move forward in life. You want to look at what's holding you back. Maybe there's certain things that you look at, that you're reading, the certain books that you're reading, certain articles, certain Twitter feeds, or videos or movies that you watch, right, with your eyes. Certain things you look at with your eyes that you just know are stupid, right? Like adult content is one of those things. That is probably having an effect on you. Even the things that you listen to, the people that you listen to, the conversations that you have with people, who's having an impact on you. Certain people you talk to and the things that they say to you can have an impact on you. So you got to be very careful of who's putting what in my ear. What am I listening to on the news? What podcast? What person on the news am I listening to? What person on Twitter? What videos do I watch of him? That's why I make these education videos, because you could either go on YouTube and watch things that aren't going to benefit you, or you can watch videos like mine and other people in my genre, in my niche, that can actually help you improve your life. What are you listening to? What are you looking at with your eyes? Because these things can have an effect on you. They can impact you subconsciously, but it's still important to figure out, because you might be thinking a certain way because of the things that you've seen, because of things that you've been listening to. And you need to figure out, okay, I watch this guy on YouTube all the time. That's not good for me. I watch this guy's Twitter feed, or I read his articles, or I read this thing on the news, or every morning I read this. That's not good for me. Or I speak to this person and he always puts like all this stupid things in my ear that are not good for me. Limit these things. These series of questions is just going to open up in your mind all the things that you're doing that's holding you back. It's going to open that up for you, and hopefully you'll be able to put all these things to either limit them or just completely eliminate them. Hopefully. Now, once you're done with that, you go to the next part of this video, which is what's moving you up. So what are you doing currently that's going to move you up, and what can you implement in the future to move you up? So first question is going to be, what good habits do you have? There might be certain good habits that you have currently that you should continue, that you should keep improving in and keep progressing in, because those are good for you. And you won't necessarily know the impact of those good habits until you eliminate everything that's holding you back. What good habits do you currently have, and what good habits do you want in your life? Do you want to work out? Do you want to read books? Do you want to meditate? Do you want to be productive? Do you want to be proactive with your time and your energy, right? What are the things that you need to bring into your life? And now figure out, okay, if I have a certain good habit, how often do I do it? And can I increase in it? And if I want to implement a certain habit, figure out, how can I bring it into my life? And when you implement new good habits in your life, be very easy on yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't stress yourself out. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't stress yourself out too much. Be calm, be chill. It's okay. Don't expect yourself to, like, for example, if you want to start lifting, don't expect yourself to start, by lifting 200 pounds right off the bat. I think that's the perfect example because you don't go to the gym starting that right away, right? Even if you used to work out a lot in the past and now you haven't for like a year, you go back to the gym, you're not going to be lifting too much. You're going to be lifting from the beginning. You're going to start small. Any new good habit that you're trying to bring into your life, start small and slowly improve on that. You don't have to read a book in a week. If your friends are doing that, they've been probably doing it for a year. You don't have to do that. That's not considered, being productive. You're just trying to win this challenge or something. You have to actually make these things a part of your life. To make it a real part of your life, you have to be consistent and you have to slowly progress. Read a page a day or something like that. Read for 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. Start small and slowly progress. And if there's good habits that you currently have, then figure out how often you do them. And like I said, increase in those good habits. The second question you need to ask yourself, this is very big to me, is how you view yourself. So if you've seen my other videos, I speak about this book called Psycho-Cybernetics. And in that book, he goes over how a person views themselves affects them subconsciously and it impacts their decisions, their behaviors. Meaning, if I start a YouTube channel, if I start a business, if I go back to school, if I think that I'm not worthy of being a person who's going to be successful in this thing, then the chances of me are much lower. I already believe I'm a failure. Why would I even try? And this is something that like winners have. You might not necessarily know it because it's all mental, but if you were to go ask them, hey, before you became this top UFC fighter, this top boxer, this top entrepreneur, right? Did you believe that it was possible? Well, of course I believe it was possible. So you have to believe it's possible for you to get to where you need to get. I wouldn't start a channel if I didn't think that it was possible to help people and reach a large audience. I believe it's possible, and therefore I'm going to work in that manner. I'm going to behave in that manner. So you have to find out, how do you view yourself? If you view yourself as a failure, if you view yourself as someone who shouldn't be on this journey or who's not going to be successful in this journey, that's an issue. And if you have that thinking, you need to figure out what you can do to change that, to reverse that. I have a couple of videos on my channel. One of them is Reprogram Your Mind for Success. I highly recommend that video because that helps you change the way you think, change the way you view yourself and the way you look at obstacles in your way. Because your mindset is a big, it's a big factor in winning and being successful in life and becoming a better version of yourself. Some people say mindset is everything. So if it's really everything, then how you view yourself really matters. There's certain exercises in the book of Psycho-Cybernetics where he goes over, he's like, you can visualize, there's certain visualize exercises that you can do. And you can like even go on YouTube and like, if you don't want to read the book, you can go on YouTube and like look up his Psycho-Cybernetics exercises. There's certain visualization exercises that he recommends, the guy who wrote the book, the author of the book. And they help because you visualize yourself winning. You visualize yourself becoming the person that you want to be. You feel everything, you think of it, and you keep reminding yourself and you keep visualizing that every single day until it becomes a part of your reality, because you have to stay consistent with your thought patterns and your actions and everything. That's when real change actually happens. Even with this guide, for example, you won't notice changes in like a month. So if you think you can just do it for like 2 weeks or like a month and you're like, this is enough, this might not be enough. You might have to do it for maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe even a year. To some people, that's heart shattering because they're like, what the hell? Like, I want changes now. I guess the world we live in, everyone wants things right away. But I will always preach to everyone, because I'm going to keep it real, that you can't make things happen like this. And if it does happen fast, it's probably luck or it's fake, to be honest. Because things take time. Greatness takes time. Anything in life just doesn't happen fast. It takes time. If you keep doing it over time, you'll notice the change. If you're in a rut right now, if you're feeling stuck and you feel like you can't move forward, you can't move up in life, you're not improving in life, for you to get out of it, it will take some time. But that journey is what's going to make you better. It's not the destination, it's the journey. Very deep and positive of me to say, but it's true. It's not the destination, it's the journey. The journey is what makes you better. Now, the third thing is figuring out how much time do you spend working on your goals, working on the things that you need to improve on, right? So for example, if you want to become this entrepreneur, for example, you can choose any career. How much time are you spending working on it? Because that's what's actually going to get you closer to your goal, is the time you spend working on it. You can't get anywhere unless you work on it, and you can't work on it unless you put time to work on it. You need to give it time. Like I said before in this video, time is of essence. Time is very valuable. If you want to make this amazing business and make a lot of money off of this business, you have to spend time working on it. And you can't do that unless you free up your time. Figure out how much time are you actually spending on your goals, on the things that you need to work on. So you're like, okay, I spend 2 hours a day on this side hustle, for example. Well, now that you've freed up a little bit more of your time, now see if you can do it 4 hours a day. And the more time you spend on it, the better you're going to get. And the closer you're going to get towards getting to where you need to go. You're going to hit that flow state. You're going to be able to immediately gain momentum and just keep going, and the results will come out of nowhere because you spent more time doing it. I spend more time making videos. I spend more time editing. I'll get better at it eventually. I'll get to where I need to go, just like you. Same thing. So figure out how much time do you spend on the things that are actually taking you to the next step. As far as your career, as far as your finances, if you want to become financially free, what are you doing? What are you doing? Once you figure out how much time you're spending, see if you can spend more. Most likely you need to increase the time that you're spending. If you want to become like a boxer, spend more time boxing, right? If you want to become an NBA player, spend more time playing basketball. Stuff like that. How much time are you spending doing the things that are actually going to take you to the next level? Hopefully, that whole guide helps you and gets you out of the place you're at and actually helps you move up and improve your life. And the reason this is mainly questions that you need to ask yourself, because, I could come here and I could tell you what to do, right? I could be that YouTuber who gives you this advice and this advice. And some of my videos might consist of that, sure, but who really knows what you need to do better than you? Who really knows what's holding you back better than you? There's certain things that you do that you might not even want to tell me. I don't know, but you know what's holding you back. So the reason this video is mainly questions is because you need to figure out what's holding you back and what can you do to improve. And that's why only you can answer it, because it's based off your circumstances, your situations. Not everyone watching this video lives in the same area or has the same socioeconomic status or has the same age or time, or, so many things are different. Only you know what you can improve on, and only you know what you can prevent and eliminate to stop holding you back. So it's a lot of introspection that you have to do, but that's what's helped me in the past. That's what's helped me going into my brain and introspecting and figuring out, okay, why am I here, Madni? What am I doing? What's holding me back? And what can I do to improve? That's what's helped me. That's what's helped other people. So that's why it's just a bunch of questions. It's not necessarily straight advice towards you. It's a lot of work that you have to do, because it really is all on you. I can only guide you. I can only give you certain instructions. Everything else is up to you. And I'm always going to keep it real. There's a lot of work you have to do. It's just how it is. And one more thing, I left this for the end. This is like a bonus, but if you're trying to move forward in life and you feel stuck, or you're stuck in this rut, maybe if you've done all these things, right? Maybe a question that you need to ask yourself is, who are you looking up to? Who's your role model? Who is the person that you want to be like? And the reason I say this is because this is something I questioned myself. I figured out that the people that I want to be like, the people that I'm looking up to, are not necessarily the best people for me to follow, whether it's their character or their actions that are not good, right? Maybe I was looking up to them because they have a different status in the world, or they have certain things that I like, or the way they walk or the way they talk, or they have a certain following, but they're not necessarily the people that I want to be like. And it's a lot of introspection. Again, it's another question you need to ask yourself, but who is your role model? Who do you look up to? Who do you want to be like? Do you really want to be like, for example, not to say anything bad about Jeff Bezos, but do you really want to be like Jeff Bezos? Or are you just saying that because a lot of people want to be like him, or a lot of people want to be like Elon Musk? Do you know who he is? Do you know what type of character this person has? Do you know how he treats his parents, how he treats his family members? Is that someone who you really want to be like? Even if you're just looking at it in a career perspective or a business perspective, do you really want to do the work that he did? For example, Elon Musk, he works a lot more than any of us could ever say we work. Are you willing to do that? Do you really want to be like him? It's just a quick little tweak that you can put in your head that okay, who do I really want to be like? It wasn't until I figured out, okay, that's the person I want to be like. Those are the actions I started implementing. Those are the habits that I started putting in, my life. And then you can also ask yourself, how would this person react in this situation, right? What would this person do? For example, what would Mudney do? So whoever your role model is, whoever the person you want to be like, you can ask yourself these situational questions, right? This thing happened. What would this person do? This person was mad at me. What would my role model do? What would my role model do in this exact situation? You start looking at life through their lens. And that's why I think it's very important to ask yourself this question. That's why I left it at the end. It's a bonus. It's not like super important, but it really could have an effect on you because maybe you're looking at life through the lens of your role model, and maybe that's not the right thing to do. Again, I can't sit here and give you clear advice. This is a question you need to ask yourself and figure out, do some introspecting and figure out, who do I look up to? And is that the right person I should look up to? And hopefully, if you follow all these steps, hopefully it does help you improve in your life in some way, because this is what helped me. So this is not just some BS video just to get views. This is genuinely like my own thoughts and my own research and the things that I've done in my life to actually improve. So hopefully it does help you. And if it does, let me know in the comment. One last thing, if you're curious about what bad habits I think you shouldn't have in your life, or what things you shouldn't do as a man, I have a video on my channel that I recently dropped titled The Rise of Weak Men. And in this video, I go over what I think, from my own perspective, young men shouldn't do and what's holding them back in life. So if you want to learn more about that, click the video.